Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be picking and gutting this Japanese goal lock. I don't know what the actual name of this is. I feel like a lot of goal locks get kind of shorthanded names in the community, like the goal Z and the goal P. This one, I don't know. It has S on the key, and it's short, so maybe it's a goal S. I'm not really sure. I've been calling it the baby goal, because it's just like some of the other goal locks, but it's tiny. So you can see this is the housing that it comes in, and it's got this short format, similar to the goal D9, which is a dimple lock. And this one is 5 pins, unlike a lot of the other goal locks. And here's the plug. So it's got the standard goal overmilling there. No counter milling that I can feel, but it does have overmilling. And then as far as pins, it's got what you would expect, I think, from a goal pin tumbler lock, which are these kind of sharp spools there, and some mushroom pins. So this one has 3 spools, 2 mushrooms, and nothing special on the key pins, just plain old pins there. So like the other goal locks, if you've ever seen those, you do get some kind of catching here as you pick these. So again, no counter milling, but when you first pop this up, it goes, you can see right there, it goes into the overmilling. Whoop. That was too much force. It goes into the overmilling, and because the overmilling is below the kind of plane of the shear line, which would be up here, this is not lifted enough for the lock to open. So you gotta lift these, and then you gotta pop them up just a little bit more to get them out of the overmilling and get the lock open. And then of course, you're dealing with these kind of mushroomy spools as well, which results in you having to do some little counter rotation, and you can drop some of the other pins. So that combination is what makes these a little tricky to pick. This one wasn't terrible because it's just 5 pins, and again, no counter milling, but definitely a pretty decent little lock. So I'll get up into the vise, you see it get picked and gutted, and then we'll be all done. All right, I've got my tiny goal lock here. I'm not even sure what to call this, but it's like a baby goal. So one of the hardest parts about this lock is that the pins are very tiny and very close together. And I was originally using a flat tipped pick, and I'm pretty sure I was hitting multiple pins at once. So I'm now using a pointy deep hook, and I'm trying to be very careful about what pin I am on because I frequently lose my place here. Okay. I'm working these pins up. There are spools in here and kind of mushroom pins, so but I don't believe there's counter milling, just over milling, so I don't need to worry too much about those gin spools getting stuck. So I'm feeling for counter rotation here and just trying to lift the binding pins. And I am moving back and forth a lot because stuff It feels like it wants to fall quite a bit in here. Okay, there we go. Got it open. Not too bad, but a little tricky. You gotta be really gentle on this. I felt like the first couple times I tried it, I was oversetting stuff. And was on the wrong pin frequently. I kept trying to get to the last pin, and I'd get to the back of the lock after counting forward, and I'd go to where I thought the 5th pin was, and there would be nothing there because I had already passed the 5th pin. So all right, so there's the housing. Here's the little tiny kick, I guess. Just for size comparison, this is a Goal Z. It's kind of in the same format in a housing, so you can see it's like just slightly over half the size. It's a little tiny version. All right, so it's open. I'm gonna pull this cover off. This cover snaps off pretty simply. I just stuck a pick in here and just popped it like that. And it should just, yeah, there we go. Should just pop right off, which is nice. There's all your springs there. So take the springs out. And then I'm gonna put the key back in, because if I get the drivers lifted a little bit, they'll come out a little bit easier. Okay. Let's see what the best way to do this is. I mean, you can see there's the tops of the drivers, so they're oriented the right way. So if I dump them and they flip around, that's why. You know that they're in the right way, at least for right now. 2. Oh, that was 3. Right there. So you can see it's kind of a gin spool, a mushroom, a gin spool. I think this one might be a mushroom too. Nope, another gin spool. Whoop. And a mushroom at the very back there. Okay. Let's do the key pins now. Actually, I'm gonna pop the C-clip off and I'll just take this thing. This might be easier than dumping out the top. C-clip. Pull this out. So there's the lock body right there. This ball bearing was in that little hole there. I think it was a construction keying, but I left it out when I picked it, so I don't think that had any impact on the lock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let me fix these. was right. And I flipped it around. Does that one have a bottom on it? Kind of. All right. Let's bring these pins up here so you can see them. So they are the standard goal mushrooms and spools there. And the drivers, looks like maybe some of the drivers are symmetrical. Some of them are pointier than others, which is interesting. And then I'll show the plug here. So you can see there is overmilling, which is right there going down. But coming up, there is no countermilling. So if they had countermilled this, it probably would have been a lot more difficult. But I think when gold does their countermilling, they may come up from the bottom. Not 100% sure. And the warding of this makes that not possible. So, but they did overmill it. So you do have kind of some of that standard goal feeling where you pop a pin up and it goes into the overmilling, and then you gotta pop it one more time. So, all right, I'll try to find out what the actual name of this is. I've been calling it the baby goal, but that's probably not the appropriate name. The keys do have an S on them. So maybe it's like a goal S for short, something like that. I don't see anything else stamped anywhere. So if I figure out what the actual name is, I'll probably fix the title of this video. But until then, we're all done. There you go. It's a tiny 5-pin goal.